How do we know there is a God? What a great question. My first thought is, how do we know that there isn't a God? It's one of those questions that you can't prove it either way. You can't prove that God exists, you can't prove that he doesn't. A bit like how you can't prove that someone loves you. You might think that they do, but you can't prove it. You just look at pointers like what their behaviour is towards you and what the things that they say. So I think there's 5 pointers of God's existence and that he really is there or here with us. Number 1, creation. Isn't it amazing? It's fantastic. One of the things getting me through lockdown is seeing the beautiful sunrises every morning, apart from when it's raining. It's incredible. I love it. One of the things I'm missing in lockdown is getting to go to the beach. I love going to the beach, the sea, the sand, the cliffs. It's different every time I go, and that's different to the moor, it's different to Heavitree Park. Creation is so fantastic and diverse and amazing. For me, there has to be a creator, there has to be a designer behind it. Someone once likened the no designer behind God to believing that if there was a massive explosion in Tesco, suddenly a Christmas dinner with all the trimmings would appear as a result of the explosion. That would be pretty crazy, wouldn't it? But yet we do the same thing about life and planet Earth. We're happy to recognise that a phone or a computer or a toaster or a watch all has a designer and builders, and yet we don't always follow the same thought process and the same logic for the planet and our lives. So number 1, creation. I think that gives us a great pointer towards there being a God. Number 2, hole in the middle. Now we've all got drives or instincts inside of us, like hunger and thirst and cold and seeing friends right now, okay? And we can do something about them. We can eat something, we can drink something, we can put an extra jumper on or turn the heating up, and one day we will be able to see friends again, hopefully. But there's also a drive in us to worship. That means to give something value, to look up to it, to have our lives revolve around that thing. And I would say that is a God desire in us. Some people try and fill it with other things like football, their football team. They go to every game or watch every game on TV and get all the kit, and their life revolves around their football team. So they're buzzing when they win and they're gutted when they lose. And the way they spend their money, the way they spend their time, all of that revolves around the football team. For other people, it might be their boyfriend or girlfriend or their family in general. But as Pascal, who was a French mathematician and philosopher, he concluded that there is a God-shaped vacuum in every one of us. So creation, the hole in the middle. Number 3, right and wrong. Now, I think all of us agree on some things that are right and wrong, and we'd agree with people all across the world. If we think about killing or dishonesty or selfishness or betrayal, all of those things happen all the time, don't they? Sometimes maybe we're doing those things ourselves, but we don't want other people to be doing those things. We've all got this sense of injustice when someone lies to us and we find out, or someone is unkind and doesn't share something with us. So despite the massive diversity in cultures across the world, we do have similar values. Just take the current crisis. Look at the lengths we're going to protect lives and save lives from COVID-19. Who'd have thought less than a year ago that schools, you'd be doing school from home and you'd be online learning. Snow days would forever disappear, sadly. We're going to extraordinary lengths to protect people's lives. We value lives massively, but why do we do that if there's nothing behind it, and this world is just it, and there is no God? So I think that helps as another pointer to why I do think that there is a God. So number 4, what's it all about? What is the purpose of life? Where are you going with your life? What are you going to do? Why are you even here? All of those questions I think are really relevant right now. I was having to isolate for 10 days over Christmas and New Year, stuck in my house, not able to get out, not able to go anywhere. What's the point? What's the point in getting up in the morning? What's the point in getting up and doing some exercise? Well, I think that God gives us purpose and meaning in life. That even if I'm stuck in my house and I never move again, I know that God created me, He made me, He loves me, He values me, even if I never do anything else ever again. God gives purpose to life. And lastly, number 5, change lives. From the people around me, I can see that God is making a difference in their life. To famous people, people who I haven't met but I've read their biographies. Like there's a guy called Nicky Cruz, who was an American gang leader who became a preacher. What an amazing story, what an amazing difference God makes in his life. Someone called Jackie Pullinger, who I loved to read about when I was younger. She graduated from the Royal College of Music in London, very posh, and then went to Hong Kong to set up a youth centre and a rehab centre for drug addicts. Life-transforming work that God is doing. And less miraculously and a bit more mundanely, even my own life. I did grow up in a Christian family, but it wasn't until my 20s that I was really questioning, what difference does God make in my life? So I drifted away. I didn't bother with Him anymore. And it took 3 years, but I realised that God made a massive difference in my life. On the surface, I had it all. I had a good job, I was teaching, I was pretty successful, was getting the best A-level grades of anyone in the county. I had a nice flat, had a great car. All that was great, but I realised that inside I was becoming a more selfish, more rude, more gossipy, horrible kind of person, and life was essentially getting a bit meaningless. It doesn't matter how good a teacher you are if that's it and there isn't anything else. And so after 3 years I realised, and I gave my life to God again, and He is, through His Holy Spirit, slowly making me into a more loving, kind, generous person. Still got a long way to go, but I think it does make a difference. So those are my 5 pointers. Creation, the hole in the middle, there's something in each one of us that only God can fill. That we know right and wrong, the purpose of life, and change lives. So yes, I do think God is there.